We're back. It's prediction time. Time for our panelists to peer into the crystal ball. Tell us something that they see. Rachel, Harold, John, and Joe still with us. Joe, what are you seeing tonight?
Well, I think I may blow all my time on the prediction to respond to Rachel. I don't engage in crossfire type debates, and certainly I don't want to talk about what people do in bathrooms. I do want to say, though, that anybody, and you can ask Harold Ford, you can ask anybody that's ever run for political office, that the thing you want to do is define your opponent. You define opponents that people don't know more easily than defining opponents that have been in public service for a quarter of a century. It was the only point I was trying to make. And again, I don't do crossfire, so if we want to yell back and forth, then Rachel will have to find somebody else to do that.
I wasn't trying to yell back and forth with you. I was starting to make my point. You cut me off before I started my first sentence. That's all I was. Okay. You had waited for me to start. I started, and then you jumped in.
Well, I don't mean to be condescending, but I can say that anybody that's ever run for political office before knows that there's a big difference between John McCain and defining him, who's been in public service for 25 years, and defining Barack Obama, who was in Washington, D.C. for 1 year before he decided to run for president.
All right, I'm going to shut this particular debate down and move on. John, your thought about what's coming up ahead.
After Tuesday, Hillary Clinton's right back in the fight of her life. What she's probably done with Bittergate and with that debate is preserve her lead in Pennsylvania. She's got a working margin there. She's likely to win next Tuesday, but then she's got those May 6th contests in North Carolina. Likely to lose there. She's got to win in Indiana. Very close race right now. No more than even money bet for her to win that state.
All right, Harold, what do you see coming up?
The Democratic nominee, once he or she is determined, will surge to a 5 to 10 point lead over John McCain. I'm a believer that as this race is joined between McCain and or Obama or Clinton, you will see John McCain have to answer questions about how it is that you can believe that going into Iraq, if they had no weapons of mass destruction, was the right thing to do, which he said. I think Joe Biden began to lay this case out in the last 48 hours, and the Democratic nominee will benefit from the biggest thing happening for Democrats nationally. People want a change, and John McCain doesn't represent that.
All right, Rachel, your thoughts tonight.
First of all, Joe and I will go out for a beer and hash this all out. That's my first prediction. My second prediction is that it'll be Cindy versus Laura on morning television. Next week, the day of the Pennsylvania primary, we will have had daytime TV appearances from two major A-list Republican spouses. Cindy is going to be co-hosting on The View on Monday, the day before the Pennsylvania primary. Laura Bush is going to be hosting an hour of the Today Show the morning of the primary. I don't know if this was a coordinated effort to get Republican family values and very popular Republican spouses out there in advance of that big Democratic contest, but I think it should start an air war where we see a lot more of Michelle Obama and Bill Clinton being humanistic and interesting on TV in the next few weeks.
I'm bringing the Crown Royal for this beer fest these guys are about to have.
Joe only drinks white wine.
What is it we're seeing with these with the spouses starting to step it up and go to some of these forums now? There's almost a time in the primary season where they think it's time to bring them out.
Yeah, you know, Laura Bush has consistently been the most popular Republican in the country for almost the entire term that Bush has been president. So I think that they see that this is actually probably their best face forward on days that otherwise would be owned by the Democrats just because of the sheer volume of coverage of this Pennsylvania primary. I think it's wicked smart of them to do this. You're going to put something out there that's going to be non-controversial, that's not going to get any sort of pushback from the Democrats, that's not going to give the Democrats anything to complain about or to put into their stump speeches, but it's still going to get this very positive side of the Republican brand out there. I think it's very smart, and I think that it was smart for the McCain campaign to jump on the View opportunity on Monday after they found out that Laura was going to do the Today Show.
Especially since I don't think Colin Powell could handle that last hour of the Today Show.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's more lady stuff.
All right, we're going to leave it there.